Hi, this is Lynn Shuck with Healing and Balance. Sometimes when I'm working with a client, what we're discovering is that the ability to articulate the rib cage separate from the pelvis and vice versa is challenging. Often when people move their hips, they move their shoulders. When they move their shoulders, the hips go too. There's a lot of, and so can you move your rib cage without tipping your shoulders? Can you move your hips without moving your upper body? This is where this work comes from. Doesn't always come from yoga, so I wouldn't call this a yoga move, though I have taught it in yoga classes. So I want you to picture yourself standing in a human-sized vase and let your feet be comfortably apart and bend the knees a little bit. Not a lot, just a little. So we're gonna work with the pelvis first. I'll turn sideways slightly, just angling myself. The first thing I wanna do is tuck my tailbone under, tip the top of my pelvis back. And then I'm gonna swing my hips over to my right, and then I'm gonna take my tailbone back behind me, and then hips to the left. And I'm going to do that again as separate movements, and I'm trying to keep my shoulders still. Tailbone goes forward, hips go to the right, hips go back, hips go left. Now remember that vase? We're going to try and clean that vase hip height by connecting those 4 points and making a circle. Notice I am not moving my shoulders very much. I'm not doing a lot of stuff up here. I'm trying to keep my ribs and shoulders still while I move my hips. Let's go the other direction. So again, always start by finding those 4 points so you know how far you go in each direction. Pubic bone comes forward, hips go to the left, tailbone goes out behind you, hips go to the right, and then we start to connect those 4 corners, and you may discover you have more movement in one direction than another. I'm having some hip stuff going on, so I'm finding this left side is sort of interesting. It looks similar, but doesn't feel similar. So that's moving the hips. The harder one is moving the rib cage. First of all, just try shifting your ribs right and left, seeing if you can slide them across one side and then the other. So again, this is not tipping my shoulders, curving my spine. The spine is changing shape, but I'm trying to push my ribs as a unit over to one side and over to the other. The other movement that's going to happen in that circle is to take your ribs forward and to take your ribs back. Forward and back seems to be easier for a lot of people. It might not be a big movement, but it's easier to comprehend. So now we'll take that same 4 points in a circle first. We're going to go 4 points forward and then to the right, and then pull the ribs back, and then to the left, and then I'm going to try and smooth that circle out, and now I'm cleaning the inside of the vase at rib height. And you'll see my hands are on my hips, and I'm trying hard not to let my hips move much. They'll move a little, but not much. So the next time I'm forward, I'm going to separate it out into 4 points. I go forward, I go sideways, I pull my ribs back, I go to the other side, and then I link those 4 together, trying to clean the vase on the inside at rib height. Again, with the rib cage, just like with the pelvis, you may find you have more movement to one side than the other, or more movement forward, more movement back. That's all fine, just trying to bring some smoothness to that circle. That's it, those are isolations. There's lots of other directions that can go, but that's where we're starting from. It's just getting the pelvis to work separately from the rib cage and vice versa. All right, go.